A short message here before we are starting. Follow the Symposium podcast for listening to stories and unfiltered conversations at Instagram. Thank you. Attention, the following podcast is not just a podcast, it is a message to those who choose to listen and a warning to those who don't. We are on there. Today we're going to discuss something interesting though, and well, you can see like the original logo is there in the background. Just a little nostalgia for when the corner went on there. Anyway, we're going to discuss unemployment, and I have my co-host here, Alexander. Sometimes he works as my tech supporter, but today he is the corner's co-host. Hello, Alexander.
Hello, and I thought the original logo was on the last episode you did actually.
No, but
Or
you
we
know, like
did,
the
actually.
the very first logo with the microphone instead of the bottle.
Right. Have we made it clear who designed that bottle yet?
Well, to be clear for future references, that was Alexander that designed the bottle. Kudos, Alexander.
Oh, I thought we were just gonna leave it mysterious, but no, now it's out.
Now it's out. Now now the mystery's out. So yeah, man, unemployment, and this is like something that is growing in the future. We had this like on the last episode that automation businesses is also taking a bite of this, because with said automation business that we were talking about, there is not so much need for receptionists and live supporters today as it has been. So again, we are creating a gap in the society that needs to be filled, correct?
Yeah, like rising technology will eventually make even more jobs obsolete that humans do these days. So
Yeah.
we will be even more creative in the future to and inventive to create our own jobs.
Well, we have to, or else we are going to end up with a massive amount of unemployed scale of the population that needs to be compensated, that needs to be paid out of the government tax box, and on top of that, we need pharmaceutical drugs to also supply these people to prevent them from becoming depressive and killing themselves. Because I know
exactly, but
I know that's extreme.
It's a concept, but it's a consequence of the society as it exists today, and it's going to be even more of a consequence in the future.
Yes, it will. Absolutely, as the population will keep rising, and there will be more people on the bone for every job.
Yeah.
I haven't like really thought about it before, but like there has to be like a lot of people out there, maybe some of you listeners, that have a high education. Possibly you have even worked with something in this high level of education, but you've been laid off or fired due to COVID-19 or due to other reasons, and now you're working a minimum wage job. Because I assume that there also has to be a large portion of you folks out there, but this portion of the folks is quiet. We don't see them going into newspapers or like getting the word out there that like this has happened to them, but it is happening way more than you think.
Yeah, that's true.
So
And it's also like I can reference to a podcast I just listened to, Joe Rogan again. This is one of my favorite podcasts where he just had Kanye West on, who's a lot of people, you can say what you want about him and find him delusional for that he wants to run for president, and you can think a lot of things about him, but when you hear him talking, he actually has a lot of good points, a lot of valid points, and you can feel that his speech is very intellectual and is very educated. You feel like he has actually read a lot of stuff. He's not just seen this on television and stuff. You feel like he has a level of intelligence. And the point of this is, like, he was talking about this very thing that because his agenda is to go back to the roots of. I'm not advocating for his policy here. I'm just saying that what he wants is to go back to the roots of what our society looked like back in the 17th century, where we were still good at producing food. Like, agriculture was a big thing, and that sustains our life in a very primal way, in the best way, actually. In the natural way. That's the natural job. But that has all been taken over by machines now. Like, one farmer produces food enough for thousands of people these days. That's one person. Yeah. One person produces enough food for thousands of people. What are these 999? Like, let's say one farm, right? Yeah. One farm is about the size of maybe 2 hectares. Or so. That's enough food for 1,000 people. What are these 999 going to do? I mean, back in the 17th century, they would work on the farm. They would work on food that they would eat themselves and sustain themselves. But now that has been taken over by tractors, by big wagons, by trucks, by expensive machinery. Like one of my friends, he lives on a farm, and they got equipment there for millions of dollars.
Yeah.
That they use to produce for these thousands of people. But then again, what are these 999 going to do?
Yeah, exactly. I like this article that I sent you earlier from The Drum. It says in the very first paragraph that Forrester, that is Forrester Research Inc., which is a company that, amongst other things, analyzes and predicts future trends of what's going to happen and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And they say that 16% of all U.S. jobs will be automated, robots, or machine learning and automation taken by 2025. 16%, man.
Yeah.
And how many? And we are already at 10 million people that's unemployed in the United States.
Yeah, and to take it back to this example of the farm that I was talking about before, then you could maybe say, yeah, okay, but we have managed to create some jobs for like 500 of them, and these 500, they will be engaging in the distribution of the farming material. They will be. We've maybe created 100 jobs for marketing people that will market the products that the farmer needs to buy in order to get to the end to the end consumer, which is the farmer. Then we have people that drive the trucks from the lot, from the land, and all that. But it is these jobs that new technology in the future will replace. These 16% of US jobs by 2025. That is these jobs, marketing jobs, and these 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 uncreative jobs. No, maybe not marketing, but these uncreative, maybe just like a truck driver.
Yeah, of course,
there is
but
already Tesla has already launched
I know.
self-driving truck.
I know, but still, these are still jobs that have that fills a meaningful void for a lot of people. And it's also providing financial safety. And
that's a good point.
And I'm under the, and like like my thoughts on this is the same. Like the policy where if you have a forest and you cut down a tree, you sow a seed for every fucking tree you cut down, right? It should be the same way with jobs, even though they're being automated or replaced by a robot. It's still a tree that you're cutting down, and it should be replaced so you can still fill that void for that worker that is losing his job.
Yeah, exactly.
But we are not thinking about that. Governments are not thinking about that. Countries are not thinking about that. And I don't even think that people are thinking about that, because what matters is business. What matters is that the tax money keeps rolling into the box. And what matters is what fucking society thinks. And as you have also said yourself, it is viewed upon as almost completely taboo to be unemployed, like you're some fucking criminal.
That's what we're taught. That's what we're culturally taught by Western society and civilization. Throughout the last 100 years. I mean, it's really ridiculous to think about. Just a century ago, in the 19th century, people weren't even thinking in those. Excuse me. In those lines, people were just in the dawn of what do you call it, Upplysningstiden.
I know what you mean, like the dawn of enlightenment.
The dawn of enlightenment. People were just figuring out, hey, here we have some interesting philosophies by Nietzsche. Let's ponder that. Okay, that's interesting, but they were not nearly thinking about the job growth or the growth in population as was the case in the 20th century.
No, because this wasn't a problem back then. Not at all. Everybody would have a job then. Or at least, like, if you, I'm not saying that everybody would have a job. That depends on like where you were. But if you wanted a job, you'd get a job, right? Like we said before, like, and also with the stuff that you like written and come up with. In the 1950s, you would be able to walk into Coca-Cola or Pepsi or something and just say, hello, I'm a hard worker, I'm loyal, I'm willing to come here on time, and I'm willing to learn. Will you give me a job? And odds are, even with just a high school diploma and no work experience, you would get the job, or you would get a chance. But today, man... Like, I would like imagine that even for the lowest of the lowest job position at Coca-Cola, like mopping the floor, it's like, this needs to go through the human resources department, which will filter through this 400 application of which cleaner is the most qualified for the job.
Yeah, exactly. And we're talking even cleaning jobs here, because there's 10, 20 people lined up fucking cleaning job.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Or more.
In the dawn of Enlightenment age, when we were surrounded by all these great thinkers, Goethe, Shakespeare, all these intellectually brilliant men, it was looked down upon to be a janitor. It was regarded as the lowest of the low, the crap job, which you get paid like $2 for. But today, in today's Denmark, no, today it's actually a highly paid job. I believe the salary for a cleaning assistant these days is 120 kroners, which is like $25 something.
Yeah.
No, wait, I can Google that. Yeah, it's $20 for a fucking cleaning job these days.
Yeah. Okay, listen, man. In the early 1900s, the unemployment rate in the U.S. was less than 3%, which is like not a hell of a
Okay.
lot. Which is not a hell of a lot compared, like if you're considering how
No.
many people lived in America at that time, and
Yeah.
and how also like how people were like getting settled and all that stuff. But I'm not sure, like like how you would how it could be an accurate account of it, because even so, it would probably still be like a lot of people that would have been paid cash for their service, right? But yeah, man, things is definitely going in the wrong direction. And you put it so beautifully in that piece that you written 2 years ago, that it should be a goddamn human right to work.
Yeah, we have to underline that, and the more the more we repeat that, and the more that we say that, the better,
Yeah.
because it might be the most profound thing that I have thought of, and I know I'm not the first one to have thought of this, but it's strange, too, that society seems to forget this. I mean, maybe there was a guy who thought of this human right to work back in the dawn of enlightenment. It's a human right to work. Maybe Goethe or Nietzsche thought of this and said, hey, look at this, man. We need to implement this. And then a century has passed. People have forgotten that entire. And then someone else needs to.
Because now it's all about having the fucking experience, being able to prostitute yourself online, to showcase yourself, like why you are the person that you should hire. What kind of personal interest do you have? Are you a guy that's fit for our company?
Yeah, it's almost like every fucking job application process needs to end out in a 20-minute conversation of going through your 15-page report on your life, your previous experience, and then it needs to end in you saying yes. Yeah, you need to say yes. You can't just you can't just suggest it to your boss. You need to be good enough to get the offer from your boss to be taken out on a date where you will sit with them and be their buddy, basically. That is required.
Well, the body that is metaphorically willing to get on your fucking knees to suck said person's dick.
Yeah, in order to so and you need to go to these fucking Christmas lunches. You need to come to the weekly meet. You need to go to the development conversation, as we have it in Denmark, because we need to make sure that our employees are nurtured and that they will be 5% more productive next month than this month. I mean, fuck, man. I'm getting fucking enraged just thinking about it.
I know. I don't like. No, I don't know where this mentality is coming from. And like all these.
It's underlying. It's like it's because everything is. Like I will let you speak, and then I will remember this for later.
I'm just like thinking that that like with this mentality, you don't give a shit about people. You don't give a shit about society either, because you are taking it all away, and you wouldn't care. If there was a machine, like say that you had like 10 workers, and then the next year it comes like a machine out on the worker that is equal to say like 5 years salary to these 10 people that's working for you, you'd think, I could earn a lot of money by investing in that machine and then let go of my workers. Yep, I'm going to do that.
Yeah,
and that's what's happening, and I don't know, like it is like this mentality that I talked about, like, and you talked about that it is taboo to be unemployed. That's the reason why I don't think that high qualified people working in low qualified jobs are saying anything.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? Like it's like man, like we had like this guy on the show from Virginia like a couple of times, Victor,
Yeah.
and he's
Yeah.
and he told me
Cool
about
dude.
yeah, cool dude, and he told me about a friend of him, a friend of his, that took a fucking master's degree in something after high school. And where is that person working now? He said. He asks. Well, he's working at Starbucks. Fucking Starbucks for minimum wage with a master's degree. Holy shit! And I get into
Wow.
this, and I get into this. Like, why is this guy working there, Victor? Well, because businesses are requiring uh, like an abnormal amount of experience, plus that you need to be the right fit, the right match for the company and all that stuff. So again,
And the and the sad thing here is you could even say the lucky part in quotation marks is that he even has a job. Like there's people that are even more like I heard about this homeless guy on YouTube. I could probably find it, but that's going to take too long for now because we have a lot to discuss in this episode, I feel. But there was this homeless guy on YouTube who had a master's degree in, I think, art or something, and he had simply become homeless because of problems with his wife and stuff. But the fact remains, he had think about this. He had a master's and was homeless in the U.S.
yeah.
What the?
I don't think that like it is only the U.S. Well, I'm saying the U.S. because that's what it is easiest to find information about because it's such a large country with a large
and because of the cultural imperialism of the U.S. upon the rest of the world.
Yeah, like in total there's 200 something unemployed million worldwide, which is not actually a lot considering how many people there are living on this planet right now. Almost 8 billion people or so. But still, I think that this number...
7.5.
Yeah, but this number will eventually start growing exponentially high. Because like right now, we have people in large parts of Asia that has where this technology isn't reaching yet,
7.8 billion.
Yeah. Because you can like say that like for India where you have people earning $2 a day or $2 an hour, it's not going to pay to invest in $1 million machine to do this person's job. So so yeah, like in the future, if you want a job, you can always go to India and work for $2 an hour.
Yeah, and the interesting thing, like, I don't know, I'm on shaky ground here, so I don't really know what I'm talking about in the following. But Asians seem happy though, or at least Chinese people. Like they have Buddhism, they have Thailand monks who are like the happiest people on earth. They don't do anything other than just sitting around and meditating.
But they also have work.
Yeah, and they have work, and that's I think that's why they're happy.
So yeah,
because they have the work.
I think so too, man. So like, how ironic is it going to be, man, that it's going to be the West that's going to enter a wave of unemployment, maybe 50% unemployment when shit hits the fan and real technology gets pumped out to really take over jobs and do people's jobs. And all these like low skill jobs, right? By the way, the same article that I'm linking is saying that 61% in the UK is worried about machines taking their jobs.
They should.
Yeah, they should. So I don't know where all of this is going to end. And I think, like I have like stated it before, that either as I see it, we have two choices. Either we pay the unemployed people at that time, when it comes out of tax money, out of charity, and we drug them, give them pharmaceutical drugs to keep them happy.
Yeah, it's a terrifying utopia, but it's not. It's not a utopia. I don't know who
it's not unrealistic.
No, it's unrealistic. That was the word.
It's not unrealistic, because right now we have this giant corporate capitalistic machine rolling, and it's going hand in hand in what was the word, harmonia. No, not harmonia, but it's going hand in hand in harmony with the governments that is like thinking, yeah, give us that tax money, give us that coin. And it's going hand in hand with that. And this is like where the term, and I think like, like this is the correct place to put the term that I wrote to you, slow your damn roll, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But we are not slowing our roll. We are going to keep going. We are going to keep pushing.
And that was a very healthy attitude back in the Middle Ages when we were all dying of the Black Death, and we were, because we didn't have shit in medical or technology or anything. Then it was good to keep going, because then there was more people dying, so that you had to work fast and you had to be on the roll.
Yeah.
But now we are many more people, and we have so much technology that if each of us had to work at the level that they worked back in the Dark Ages, in the fucking Middle Age, we would have the world would be so full, the world would implode, because there would not be enough space for all that work. I don't know, that's a little abstract to put it. Like say fucking, I don't know, man, say a carpenter who worked back then in the Middle Ages, who maybe produced a bunch of wooden items in a month or something like that. That was a fast way of working back then. But now, if that very same carpenter who is trained in working a machine has to work with the same speed, like producing 10 of these in a month, he would be able to produce 1,000 of these wooden objects a month. But who is going to purchase all that?
Yeah, exactly. And that is like the problem today, like that we're not slowing a roll, and the meaning of slow your roll is that you should slow down or calm down before you do more damage than good. And this is eventually going to happen. We're going to get a massive unemployment rate, and we're going to be faced with the problem of like what are we going to do with the unemployed situation? Because what's the alternative? The alternative is what we're seeing in Venezuela, where things have gone completely to shit, that it is a failed state, that you have massive unemployment, lawyers that are becoming gang members and raiding and pillaging to provide for their families.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even say it's an alternative. It's actually a natural consequence of this stressed out society who pushes everything to the limits. When and by that happening, there will be implosions. And what happens when you can't provide anymore? Well, you turn to it is a natural fucking instinct of the primal nature of humans.
And we still need the people, even though like half the population would be unemployed. We would still need them to buy the shit that is being produced. So
Yeah.
Again, we are, and what do they need to buy the shit? They would need money, so we would need to provide them with money, and we would need to provide them with pharmaceutical antidepressants. That is the bleak future that we are staring at if we are continuing on the roll that we are on.
By the way, an interesting fact here that has nothing to do with anything is the Asian population accounts for 57% of.
Yeah, 57%.
More than half of the people of the world live in Asia.
4.8 billion, yeah.
Is what a number, man.
Yeah. Well, like what I'm going to say is that like the other alternative is what you were also writing about and that we were discussing, that that we need some kind of institution out there, some kind of government institution that help people get into jobs and that also has the power to reach into companies and say that, you know, you're going to hire this dude. If you don't, we're going to hire him for you. We're going to literally step in to your firm, and we're going to take control on the authority of the government.
Yeah, that's what we need. And I don't want to give too much away because I might still want to publish this short story, but actually, on the other hand, like I want this now because this is very important. So I actually want this out there rather than publishing it in the end. So I can say the name of the company that I invented in my short story is called Pause Decorporated, and I'm going to pause here just to let that sink in. Think about the title. Pause Decorporated.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
Pause Decorporated. Yeah,
it's a play on most companies in the U.S. which are called what?
Which are called something corporation.
Or incorporated.
Or incorporated, yeah.
But this is not incorporated because this is, the term corporate business in America is a very large company that is very heavily dense with regards to legal rights, and a corporate company has a lot of lawyers. But this is exactly the opposite of what my company in the short story is going to be. This is decorporated. There is no fucking lawyers involved. This is I don't know. It's maybe utopian, but that's the point of the short story.
Yeah.
But Pause Decorporated, the name suggests a pause for people who are in a crisis, who have worked their butts off for years and have now been fired, and have now just been put on the street, looking, what the fuck am I going to do with my life now?
Well, that's another thing, man. It should also be way, way harder to fire somebody from your company. Especially
we can get that into that in a moment. I just want to read my notes here for the short story. Not going to read the short story, just the notes. So this Pause Decorporated is a multinational company, again without lawyers. Don't know how that's going to be possible, but it can be done. Let's just fucking say that. In the logistics business, has specialized in job security for the unemployed. They are famous worldwide for their recruitment centers in every major city. Their vision is, and this is important, our vision is to make it incredibly easy for unemployed people all around the globe to get a job, temporary or permanent, with no other benefits than sheer employment. For we believe that it is a human right to work. And that's my invention. And I am proud of it because I thought of this with no external sources. This was all in my brain. but probably indirectly based on stuff I've written over the course of my lifetime, probably from these great philosophers, Aristotle or Socrates, that I've written as well. I don't know, somewhere, and somebody has thought of this before, but it cannot. I want to echo. It's like God speaking through me right now, if I may be so free. I need to echo this from the past. It is a human right to work.
Yeah.
I want to bring that in.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna grab the microphone now.
And please do tell me if I start sounding like Kanye West and getting delusional on your end.
Well, like the wise words of Mike Tyson, you're only delusional if you fail to make your delusions reality.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's just beautiful.
It's a beautiful quote.
Yeah.
So like here, man, like Mark Curtis, the co-founder and chief client officer at Accenture's design and consultation firm Fjord, believes technological advancement will create more jobs than it renders obsolete. He points to the history books and says, although the internal combustion engine reduced the number of traditional jobs associated with horses, it also brought with it a whole new set of required skills, many of which were simply unimaginable a few years prior. End quote. Well, like I'm not sure if I agree with him, because like we are not seeing that happening today. We are already seeing that that machines are replacing jobs. It has begun.
Yeah.
And as you're saying that,
it's
like I don't know, like what's a guy like? Let's say, man, what's a taxi driver going to do then? When it's coming, this self-driving technology, and he's
even worse. A taxi driver who has driven a cab for the past 30 years, ever since he was 35 years old. He lost his job at the company Fat McScrooge Incorporated. Our vision is to make dollar, more dollars than last year.
What's he going to do then? Like when he's fucking 60 years old and being laid off for a job that he said had his entire life, nobody's gonna hire him. Nobody.
No.
The same with like bus drivers. That's like the same, because I'm like finding it. I'm like, back me up on this if you can find it, or later I'll put it in the description. But the older you get, the less people will hire you, and the reason for that is that, holy shit, is this guy reliable? Is this fucking reliable? He's 63 years old. Looks like he might like be sick a lot or whatever, right? And he doesn't really look like he's hanging on with the technological advancements of 2020.
I mean, there is the old quote, the old saying that goes, modern society today in 2020 wants 25-year-old workers who have 50 years of experience.
Yeah, I believe so, man. So
that's
I'm not sure.
It's surreal. It's fucking surreal. It's a surreal society.
And I mean, like, what are you going to do? Are you going to continue going back to university, taking another bachelor's degree, taking another master's degree, in hopes that you will be the only candidate with this education readily available at that given time and at that given second, and that you get an employer that is that desperate to hire so quickly?
Well, I'm probably the prime example of that. I'm already fucking going that fucking path. Because, I mean, I gotta be honest, man. I've been one of the persons that have had a hard time to find my calling in life. I mean, I'm good at a fucking lot of things, but am I perfect? And that's what society wants. Society wants these fucking 100% perfect motherfuckers that are a perfect fit.
Well, I don't believe like it is so much about like finding the calling in your life. Very few people do.
But that's
But
that's
like,
what that's what society wants
of
you
course
to
it
do.
is. But the reality is if you can find a job that you can endure. And that you won't feel like putting a fucking gun to your head after 10 minutes, then it's the right place.
Yeah, of course. But then that is your calling.
Nah, it's not necessarily your calling. I mean, like if it's your calling, it's something that you truly burn for and that you want to do
But
and shit.
yeah,
And
okay,
that's
no,
and that,
yeah,
and
yeah, but,
that's
yeah,
and
yeah.
let me tell you, like it's some of the most bullshit advice I've ever gotten, because, fuck, man. let's say that you were burning for art. You know, Troy Trustrup, burning for art. So you go
Yeah.
and you take a fucking master's degree in art and write your final papers on Van Gogh or Edward Munch
Yeah.
or Picasso or something like this, right? And you walk out of there like a proud man, proud Troy Drustrup, right?
Yeah.
Got yourself like an education, the master's degree, walking out all pumped up from university, buffed up, your dick hard. Right?
Yeah.
Now I'm ready to take on the world. And then it's going to take like a couple of weeks, maybe months, and then you realize that, oh shit, who the fuck's gonna hire me? So there,
Yeah.
so
And that is the case.
yeah, that is the
That
case.
is the case for a person I know. I don't know if this person wants. I don't think he wants this disclosed. So I'm just going to call him anonymous right here. But yeah, I know a person like that who spent 15 years of his life in school, like 10 years in elementary school. That's how long we use it in Denmark. That's not just because we like the last years of elementary school in Denmark are equivalent to some years of high school in the U.S.
Yeah,
Yeah, so using like 15 years of school as anywhere in the world, plus some more years at university level with masters and bachelor's degrees, and now he's like doing like can't get high.
what? Can you repeat that? The last part.
Yeah, and now he's like, and now can't get hired. He doesn't.
Can't get hired.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
have to like ask, what's wrong with society?
Well, that's everything that we talked about. It's a society that is like making, which is like completely weird when you think about it, because, like, do people agree with it? I don't think so. I don't think that people agree about a lot of people agree with it, but they are seeing it as like the majority is saying it is like this. So then best keep my mouth shut, and then that's how it is. Because
And that's the first mistake. That is the silent mass.
yeah,
The silent masses that just cram up, go to their fucking jobs like fucking robots, or even worse, like slaves.
Yeah,
I mean, I just watched The Matrix, a great movie.
Yeah.
But from that movie, we can also see that, or it suggests that we are actually or most of us are slaves to our own careers.
we're cattle.
We're cattle, yeah, cattle that are just going to our jobs, working for our boss, like the good little cows we are, responding to that whip that the boss is swinging around, probably in the form of his dick, by when he's saying, you have to work faster or we will reduce your salary. That's the whip.
Yeah.
Comes in there, and we of course just take it and clam up.
Yeah, that's how it is. Jesus
But-
Christ, man.
I wanted to comment on this that we talked about before with the calling,
Yeah,
because I believe it all comes down to a misinterpretation of this calling concept. Because I think when a lot of people use that word calling, it is used in the sense that of career. Like you have to have a career. Is this career your calling? But why does that have to be the case? Why couldn't your calling just be making these podcasts or having a kid or smiling to people in this? Like, imagine this, man. Your entire calling is just smiling, giving one person a smile each day. Couldn't that just be your calling in life?
Sure it could. Sure it could.
Why does it have to be a fucking career that is your calling?
Because again, that's how society views it.
Yeah,
But again, it is.
it's
also,
obscene. It's obscene
it's
to
also-
look at the world in those narrow-minded conditions.
But
Sorry.
like let's not confuse calling for a job. Right.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
because a job is just something that you have to finance your living and to feel productive.
Yeah, and that's all that it is. But at the same time, to loop around here, that is also your right, because we are all humans. We all do fucking exist on this earth. Unless you commit suicide, you fucking exist here, and then you need to eat, and you need to eat, and in order to eat, you need to provide for yourself. Thus, isn't it a fucking right by that very definition?
Yeah, it is.
You have to eat. You have to have a way to achieve that fucking food, and that can be done in either two ways. Either you go out and you kill. In the primal nature, you would go out and scavenge and find a dead gazelle and eat that, or find a berry or something.
Yeah.
Or in the civilized society where everything is so nice and neatly structured and everything. But that must also mean that there should be a way in society to get that food. And that, by definition, is fucking work. Job that should be your damn right. I mean, it's really... I really can't see how people can disassemble that logic.
No, me neither. I got like a theory
It's,
though. I think it is just that we're oblivious to that fact. We're oblivious to that fact because.
And it's not just a fact. Actually, I would call it an axiom.
Yeah.
And for people who don't know what an axiom is, or axiomatic, that's the adjective. An axiom is something in mathematics. It is something that is absolutely true. For instance, like the fact a square has 4 edges. That's an axiom.
Yeah.
It is something that cannot be refuted by modern evidence, or it cannot be disapproved. So I would call it an axiom that it is a human right to work.
Yeah. Well, it is. It is a human right to work. But well, man, like I think that like time will show if like our governments are going to wake up, and people are going to wake the fuck up. By the way, to see what's happening and where this is going, right?
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't, then, as I said, we're going to end up doing more damage than good. Really, we are.
Yeah.
And it will like say in the scenario, which is the likely scenario, where we don't do shit before it is too late, and we start handing out money and charity checks to the unemployed and pharmaceutical drugs, there will still be a large part of people at this point that won't accept that. And
No,
this
of course
portion
not.
and this portion of people that don't want to accept that is going to become criminals. Because even being a criminal in an unemployed world would probably feel more productive than being unemployed.
Yeah, I actually think so too. I mean, a lot of, and even like now, of course, we're talking drug dealers because we watched The Wire
Yeah.
of it before, And actually, drug dealers have a much more stressful job than any business owner, if you think about it, because they not only have the tasks of knowing what drop-offs are where, or what money to collect, who owes them what and what not. They also need to constantly worry about the police showing up, and that stress factor is always there. And there's a really good podcast in Denmark from Third Ear that is about this. It's called 21 Roses, 21 Roser, but it's in Danish, so just for Danish people.
Well, you could always translate it and upload it on your YouTube.
We should do that. Actually, we should fucking make a of that podcast. But it is based on true events, though, with names changed, of course, to protect the people. But it was actually about this Swedish drug lord, who in the podcast he's called Gustav. No, can't remember what he was called.
Let's just stick with Gustav then.
Yeah, Gustav or something like that. It's not his real name anyway. And who was communicating with this Danish drug dealer named Ole. We just call him Ole. And these guys, or at some point, Ole was sitting with millions of dollars. I think it was something like 11.2 million kroners in cash in his fucking duffel bag.
So almost $2 million.
Yeah, and he was holding on to this. He was holding on to loads of drugs. The Danish police had tapped his home. He didn't know this, of course, and there was 5 sub-drug dealers that had to bring in the drugs from Spain, mainly Spain, from France, I think, too, who had to make a 18-hour drive all the way home. And all the time he had to worry about this in his head because he couldn't write it down, because then the police would be able to see it. So he had to have all this fucking information in his head. Imagine the stress level he must be.
Let me ask you this, though. What would you do, and what do you think the average person would do? Would the average person and you rather be unemployed, or would you take a job with high stress?
I mean, had you asked me 3 years ago, I probably would have said, yeah, I will do whatever is necessary for the world, whatever the world demands of me. I will do that because I'm an orderly, upstanding citizen. But now because I couldn't do that. I would fucking. I know now, and I know myself
let's not
that
say,
I would fucking implode.
Let's not say
if I came out into that.
Let's say
so.
Any stressful job, anything, you would implode.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't take it because I would not be able to do it. I know that now. I know I'm not built for stress.
Well, it depends. I would say it highly depends on how long time you have been unemployed and how desperate you are to get back into the game of employment.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. But
if you now were living in your parents' basement, and you were 30, wait, let me finish.
Yeah,
and you were 30 years old, and you've been unemployed for, say, a fucking year. You've been living in this basement, drinking rum, being depressed and shit, right? growing a beard. And then suddenly the opportunity,
looking like the Unabomber.
Yeah, looking like the Unabomber, and suddenly opportunity presents, and you're offered a job by this job center. This calls you and says, "Hi, Troy, we found you a job at the at a corporation that's not far from you. It is a management assistant job." And
yeah.
And you would fucking jump on that.
Yeah, of course I would. But this is also assuming that they would offer me it indeed, and that I wouldn't have to go through all this fucking bureaucratic nonsense.
Yeah. Disregard all that. If you were offered it, you would take it.
I might even actually go to that job conversation and also send them my resume and all that. But I wouldn't go through all this crap that we talked about that you have
I
to
get
do,
that.
where you send in your resume to some fucking job, like a specialist at the job center, who then has to verify, is this written correctly, is there spelling errors, and which there isn't, because I have checked it and I know how to spell. And I've had other people check it before I send it into them, and then they still say, no, it isn't. There's stylistic errors, and this bullshit they come up with because they can't offer you the job anyway.
Disregard all that. And then I would say that the same goes for, like, to say that, like, if the world was such in chaos as Venezuela, and the unemployment rate was this high, inflation rates was this high, people would also jump to the opportunity to make money, even if it was as a criminal, stealing, selling, whatever.
But then you are also disregarding the fact that, like, because you made it a binarity as well now, a contrast that either I take the job with a high stress level, or I don't take the job and stay unemployed. I would choose neither of those. I would take the job, of course, but then I wouldn't fucking yield in. I think now, knowing what I know about myself, I would be completely cold to a boss that says work faster. If they said work faster, I would say fuck you.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say fuck you, but I would think fuck you, and I would just do it in my own pace.
You would just do it at their own pace, and you would just say to hell with it. If it's not good enough, then they can fire you, because a high stress isn't good for anyone. No, I agree.
Just like you're doing right now. I actually admire. What was it you worked with again for our viewers? Or do you want to?
I'm a forklift operator.
Yeah, like that. Very admirable that what you told me earlier, that when your boss comes to you and says, we need to have a conversation, I don't really know where this is going, you need to be heading somewhere. You can only admire that reaction that you had, which was okay. Which is just like, you just say okay, and then turn your back on him and just keep working your own pace.
Yeah, just ignore.
That is admirable, and that is what we need more of.
Yeah.
People that just do their thing instead of yielding into this fucking stress machine.
Well, yeah, because fuck it. If you're going to start running, right? And I'm calling it running because, as in Danish, you say at springe, right?
Yeah.
And like I'm just not going to do it.
Jumping.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it. Like all these other people at the company that is running or like jumping, because it's not good.
Yeah.
It's not good for you. It's in no way good for you to do it, and I would say that they're borderline exploited, but that's how it is.
In fact, the nature of stress, the origin of stress, if you will.
What is it?
I mean, that is literally just the primal fight or flight response.
Yeah.
As also brilliant podcast by, I can't remember, Infinite Bliss, who's also on YouTube. She has a podcast. It's a she. Another great example of a girl who's actually making a podcast. I haven't seen that many of those, just to be a little feminist here. She advocates for also this insane fight or flight response that has been projected onto our entire society and made it 24/7. Now we have to do. And that it's unnatural, because originally in the jungle, or like when we were still hunter gatherers, this was just if we see a fucking lion that is running out, then we have to run away. Then we have to exert stress. But that is not the case today.
Well, it depends. If the lion's faster than you, then you have no choice but to fight it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And but then you still have to have the fight response. Yeah, the fight or flight. So then that's still stress.
Yeah.
But then guess what? You will be done with fighting the fucking lion in a couple in a couple of seconds, in a couple of minutes. But just to extend that metaphor to this fight, like our society right now is man going into a fight with a lion and keeping fighting that lion for 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
You keep fighting, fighting.
Yeah.
And of course, you don't have energy for that.
No, of course not.
What the
Of course
fuck?
not, and it's not like you exactly have a lion that you can fight and you can stab, and the lion will be dead, and you will be standing there over the dead body, inhaling the smell of the warm blood. You can't do that because it's not a physical thing you can kill. It's actually an unkillable monster.
Yeah, exactly. And it just keeps going at the back of your head. It keeps being there, growling, and what do you call it?
Yeah.
In the back of your head all the time. And that's what makes people sick at the end of the day.
That is a beautiful reflection on today's society.
And I've actually had this reflection in my head for the past 2 years, I think. So it was nice. It's nice to get it out there now. Get it out.
Man. Well, I'm going to wrap this up now.
No, hold on. I still have one more thing in regards to that lion metaphor, though.
Yeah.
Because hold on. What was it again? Now I have to collect my thoughts. Just there. What was it? Lion. Feed me some input. I will come to it.
It was the lion that was the metaphor for society, right? Or the workplace, and that you can't kill it because it isn't really a physical thing. It's the company itself. So you have like this unkillable monster breathing you in the neck, saying, "Work faster, you man."
Yeah. The state of being in a constant stress factor that makes people sick at the end of the day. Oh yeah, right. Now I have it. What would be interesting to calculate actually is how much of the day did the hunter-gatherers back in way before Aristotle and Socrates, way before the Roman, way before the Greek Empire and all that, back when we were still hunter-gatherers and living in tribes, and when we were still scavenging, how much of our day did we use on actual stress, and how much did we use on sitting around picking berries or fucking women?
Shit, man, that's good. we would use like an incredible little time with the stress level.
Exactly.
Because the kill itself would be done quickly in a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
And then it's over, and the hunter gatherer can relax. Now he can take the prey back to camp, and he can skin it and prepare it for the meal with the help of his women.
And do you think he does that in a fucking hurry, like we do today, where people are stressing through the kitchen, gotta get this dinner finished, or fucking chefs who are working in restaurants at fucking top speed because we gotta serve more customers, gotta serve more customers.
Hell no. He would take his sweet ass time, maybe stop during the way back to camp while hauling this thing.
Getting a blowjob.
Or getting some water, enjoying the sky.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Enjoying the nature, maybe enjoying the silent sounds of the river crushing by.
Pondering the existence of that tree right there that the passes. That looks like really, really old or something. Like this, yeah.
In many ways, and there are still hunter-gatherer tribes today who are living in South Africa, excuse me, or all over Africa actually, but mainly Africa. I don't think maybe the
Yeah,
Amazonas,
you know,
the
and the
Amazonas as well.
Amazon and stuff. Yeah.
And actually, I think the point we can end this on is that we could probably learn a lot from these tribes.
Yeah. Because they are
Be-
they are definitely slowing their roll.
Yeah,
Because they are not in the mindset of like thinking, how can I improve this? How can I improve this? I need some machines that can do this job for me.
yeah, exactly. They're completely.
Yeah.
They know the difference between cathartic and what was this? The opposite of catharsis.
Well,
Hold on, catharsis versus.
I would also say that the Amish also lives kind of like this. Except I don't know like if the Amish people hunt. But they definitely live like a quiet, peaceful life with a slowed roll.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just this actually must be very liberating in effect to live completely without electricity. I mean, the relief that gives you with regards to,
Man,
I mean,
yeah, imagine it like no iPads, no tablets,
Yeah.
no phones, no computers,
Wow.
none of that bullshit. Right?
and the social interaction that you would rediscover with your community, with the people that you live together with.
Yeah,
That would be fucking wow. I mean, there's a lot of people out there I know that they would not even know what to do because they're so addicted to their screen, basically. And I think I wrote another short story about this at some point. What happened if all screens on Earth disappeared tomorrow?
yeah.
It would be chaos. It would be anarchy.
Well, man. Oh, man. Also, Amish do not drink alcohol as a rule. Very weird.
Oh yeah.
Right.
You can. Yeah.
So that there is actually now more clean living. The new order of Amish also prohibits alcohol and tobacco use.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. But I think it's also like they might not even need it.
No.
They don't even need this fucking high because
they don't need dopamines. I don't believe so either.
Because they have it in, you do know that you exert dopamines when you run and do physical exercise as well.
Yeah.
So there you have your answer.
Yeah.
You get your high from physical activity.
Yeah.
But modern technology, for some reason, is just trying to persuade us that we need to sit and stare into a fucking screen all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And that is good for us because then we don't have to do this because it's tough for us. But at the end of the day, it is the fucking technology that is destroying us.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it is.
I could after this conversation, I could fucking see myself just at some point ditching everything and just fucking wandering the streets, just fucking putting on my backpack and saying, "Fuck all of this."
Hopping on the next available flight to Pennsylvania and hitchhike to an Amish farm.
Yeah. Yeah. If I could get accepted, but otherwise, I could just like. I don't know, travel the world. Is it like Into the Wild? Have you seen that?
I've seen Into the Wild. But I do. Into the Wild is interesting though. We need to discuss that in another episode. But yeah, I think you would be accepted at the Amish place because like you're putting in the work.
Yeah.
You're putting in the work, and you would say like, okay, I'm come here and I can work. I can. Learn what is it that they're talking Dutch. You can learn Dutch, and you can abstain from alcohol and coffee and tobacco.
I mean, they are definitely much more slowed down than normal society, or the society around them.
Yeah,
but of course they still have a certain amount of Like you still can't be lazy and just sit and drink.
No, then you.
Or just sit and or sleep or whatever.
No, then
If
you'll be
you want to
kicked out.
sleep for
Then you'll kick
Yeah.
out. Then you'll be shunned. You'll be
yeah,
shunned.
exactly. So you will have to participate.
Yeah.
And I can imagine for some people that is also going to be hard to do that in the longer duration.
Yeah.
Um,
All right, guys. All right. Then
Yeah.
I'm going to cut it off right here.
yeah, that's probably
We're-
better.
We're at like 110 here. Thank you all for listening, and I hope you will subscribe and share this with others, as this podcast episode is essentially a message to those who choose to heed it and a warning to those who don't. Thank you, and subscribe. Out.